Hi, my name is Joko, and I am an IELTS tutor and a executive
I can help.
and a teacher, English teacher at a high school now in Mandalay, Myanmar. And I'm here to provide some feedback on this essay here from, what's his name? His name is Apurv Pandey. Okay, Apurv, you had this wonderful request, and your issues are borderline 7. You're right there on that cusp between is it a 7 or is it not. So you have a good question, and you are right in asking it. Generally speaking, when I find that if someone's asking, is this a band 7, it probably isn't, because if it were, if you could write at that level, then you would know it. Okay? So in order to write at band 7, you have to know how to do it. And even if you're asking, then you aren't sure that you've done it. But what is it that you need to do? Well, the advice that you get at different points in your advancement, if that, as an IELTS candidate or as a student, varies depending upon your level. We teach classes where the person is trying to go from a 5.5 to a 6.5. Okay? We're giving them advice that's very different than I would give to someone who's trying to go from a 6.5 to a 7.5 or to a 7. And any good IELTS teacher recognizes that and doesn't give advice that is not tailored to the student themselves. However, at the same time, students, they learn things about how to do stuff, and it sticks with them, and they continue to do 6.5 stuff when it's not needed anymore. One perfect example of this is over paraphrasing, or making your paraphrasing very obvious, and hurting the accuracy of your vocabulary by trying too hard to use different words, and then not using different words when you should. But it's a double-edged sword. Yeah. Oh, okay, that's really small. I don't like this. We're going to switch to good old Screencast-O-Matic. Ah, yes, that should be much clearer now. Okay, so here was what was put in Facebook, and I brought it over here into a word processor to help analyze it. Okay, I hope you all are well. That was very nice. Okay, now here's the question that was given. And the underlining is mine. In their advertising, businesses nowadays usually emphasize that their products are new in some way. Why is this? Do you think it is a positive or negative development? Give reasons for your answers and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. It says that after that part there, I didn't write it in, but every IELTS question, task 2, will include those words. Give reasons for your answers. Okay. So when you analyze this question, first question is, what kind of question is it? There are 5 main types of IELTS questions, and this is number 5. They aren't numbered, but it's called a 2-part question, and this format with the why is this, and what are the causes, and then positive and negative is a very common layout to the 2-part question. And so then start asking yourself the WH questions. Okay, who are we talking about? What? When? What is it exactly? What is our subtopic? What is our main topic? Okay, our main topic is advertising. It is not manufacturing. It is not business. It could be business, but advertising is our main topic. And then our subtopic is what? It is the emphasis that products are new. Okay, it is an advertising process, an advertising norm nowadays. Okay, the stressing of newness. Okay, in some way. Okay. and in their advertising, not in their manufacturing. Why is this? Why do companies do this? And why do you think, or do you think it's positive or negative development, and why? Now the next bit here, this is the key to the coloring you'll see in the text itself. It's based upon the band descriptors. Orangish, which includes some reddish and yellowish, is task response. Blue is cohesion and coherence, lexical resources, grammar. Now those are the band descriptors. I'm not going to explain them. You can find the explanation, and you should, if you don't know, someplace else. Okay, so pause here. Okay, so let's take a look at the essay itself. All right. In recent times, now I became very close to starting this off with a nice blue, but I thought I'll give him a break. In recent times, times are longer than a longer period of time than what we're talking about in this essay. This is recently, okay? I mean, this is like nowadays. I know, don't start your essay with nowadays. But in recent times, to me, sounds much longer than nowadays. Now, here in our, which should be yellow, not orange, the law of nouns. It's not a law. It's not even a rule. But it's a tendency. Nouns don't like to sit next to each other. They're like, young brothers and sisters. They just, are you touching me? Get away! You're going to sit on that side of the. They don't like to sit next to each other unless they collocate, unless they have a natural connection to one another due to being used that way again and again in the language. I'd say that business advertisements do not collocate very well. I don't like that. In recent times, advertisements for business, but what advertisements are not for business? Aren't all advertisements for business, really? I mean, there's some that are public service announcements, but we're not talking about that. Why not just say ads, advertisements? Why don't you say business? All right. And if it started in the recent past and it continues until now, what tense should we use? A recent effect. It is affecting us now. It's present perfect. So, these items have had a focus on demonstrating that their product. Okay, wait. Here for leaving it for the sound, for the reading. Yes, we went with the reading on this one.
Advertisements have a focus on demonstrating that their products are advanced in some way. This is because it allows companies to advertise their products as being different to appeal to the sense of curiosity in their customers, and I believe that this is a negative development as it can lead to an impact in the overall quality of the product.
Okay.
In recent times, business advertisements have a focus on demonstrating that their products are...
All right, now the reason I do that is to demonstrate how a sentence sounds if it's not broken up properly with punctuation. This sentence is really long, okay? This is because until the end of the paragraph is all one sentence. And did you hear how that sounded when it was played? Don't do that, okay? You're too long of a sentence here. Okay? So, advanced is not the same as new. They're very different concepts. So you've misrepresented what is being talked about in the question. Can't do that. It's in these key terms that the accuracy of your lexical resources is paramount. It's the most important thing when you're defining these key terms. And so if there's not a perfect synonym, don't just use the original word. And advanced and new are definitely not perfect synonyms. Now, why do they do this? You tell us. Okay. All right. In some way. In some way. You end the sentences in the same three words, and it really somehow has a much stronger impact than it should, because it's kind of like the way a song ends, or yeah, the final three notes of a progression or something like that. It just makes the sentences seem too similar, that they both end with in some way. Okay. This is because, jump straight to the answer, it allows companies, okay, wait a minute. Business advertising allows companies to advertise their products as being different. Wait a minute. I thought it was advanced. A moment ago it was advanced. Now it's being different. What happened to new? Different is also not new. Okay, different to appeal. Different to appeal. Different. In order to appeal. I think you need more than just the infinitive of purpose there. To appeal to the sense of curiosity. Once again, this is a matter of collocation. This is not a thing. The sense of curiosity. There's a lot of a sense of right and wrong, but a sense of curiosity. No, that just doesn't work for me. Curiosity exists by itself. There's not a sense of curiosity in their customers. Now, I happen to be in the marketing department. Well, I mean, that's what I sort of oversee of my school. And this comes from 20 years of being in sales. And I know that customers aren't who advertisers are marketing towards, because they're not customers yet. That's the point. Okay, in their customers. And I believe that this is a negative development. Their curiosity is a negative development? No, the businesses wanting to appeal to a sense of curiosity? That's what the negative development? Okay, it's not. There's parts in this essay where you should be using referencing, in some places you should not. Here, this is very confusing. You're only using it because you've read the question. Approach your essays as if the person who's reading it has not read the question specifically. Okay, this is going to lead to an impact. I would use on there, impact on. Now all right. Nowadays has come back to life. It's useful now. No, it's not, because what you're doing here now in this next paragraph is you're setting up the premise again and doing anyway. Nowadays, person as different. Well, you said different in the last paragraph. Different. Trying to appeal. You got a lot of the same language here. This is why I don't like to explain my answers. Don't explain your answers in the introduction, because it inevitably, well, not inevitably, but often leads to repetition. And you've demonstrated that right here. Different, appeal, products. They're only two sentences apart. Appeal, they're buyer's interests. Interests should be plural here. Yeah. When a customer wants to buy any item, careful with that word any, wants to buy any item. So I want to buy a pair of underwear. Okay? Any. They come across these advertisements. Oh, look, Samsung phone. And they will become inquisitive about the product. How would it fit in my underwear? Okay, they will become inquisitive. Who are they? They will. When a customer wants to buy any item, they will. Now you're repeating yourself. Become inquisitive about the product. Inquisitive means not just curious, but asking questions. Inquiring, inquisitioning. Think of the Spanish Inquisition. Well, you're in India. Maybe you don't. It means asking questions. This makes the newer. Are we comparing two things or just one? The newer product appeal more as it has a sense of uniqueness to it. Okay, difference and unique are good. Okay, but that's not what the advertisers are doing. They're not saying we're different. They're saying new. Same old stuff, but new. It has a sense of uniqueness to it, ensuring a growth in sale of the product compared to others. For example, companies like Apple and Samsung, advanced phones, by either changing the processor or increasing the camera quality to buy their new phone. Do you work in that industry? Because it's not about what Samsung and Apple do to their phones. That's not what the question's about. It's about the emphasis on newness. If this is happening, if they're actually doing that, which I don't know if they're doing that, 2 to 3 months, well then, that's how it's marketed. But you're saying that the manufacturing, or the changing of the models, the lineup. You're answering why they change their lineup. That's not the point. Why do they change their advertising? Okay, inflated price is not needed there. Okay, I believe that this has, what is this? Negative effect on the quality of the product. Which one? The product. Are we talking about a particular product here? As it leads to a decrease in the overall life of the product. Okay, now remember what this is supposed to be. This has a negative effect. This is the focus on newness, reduces the life of the product. Really? Oh, that's a long road to walk. Business owners, who rarely actually get, they're big corporations, right? Business owners will try to add newer features to their products, often compromising in the other aspects. Just need other aspects there. Other aspects, okay? Which result in a decrease in the overall standard of the product. That should be yellow, yes. Standard isn't, that's not a use of standard that I'm familiar with. Products have standards, but standard is not a characteristic of a product. Okay. Lead to a which can long-term effect on the public. Now, there's just a bunch of words that grammatically don't make sense together. On the public image of the company, leading to a decrease in the trust in the upcoming products. That's a long sentence. How many words is that? It's a journey. Well, it's not that long, but 5, 8, 10, 15, 20, 24, 25. Yeah, that's about 34 words. Way too long for a sentence. To illustrate. Good. Micromax was, are they gone now? A phone manufacturer, phone company in India, who, in order to compete with the giants of the smartphone market, added newer features while not improving the overall standard. Once again, there's that unfamiliar use of the word standard. It might be standard in your neck of the woods. Standard means used regularly, doesn't mean quality. Oh, dang it. We darn that company trying to add new things to their phones. What happened? They fell. Leading to massive increased sales. In sales. You don't need the there. And we've got massive downfall, massive decrease. Okay, you get no points for repetition there. In conclusion, businesses are trying to advertise their products with newer features. They are advertising their products with newer features. Okay. And what they're trying to do is make it more appealing to the public. Appealing. Okay. Different. Okay. In my opinion, this is not a positive development as having an impact as it is having. Is having right now? At this moment? As it has an impact on the overall quality of the manufactured product. Okay, so we've confused different with new, and you've somehow brought in manufacturing into the question. It's not about it. It's businesses, it's schools and vacations and internet service providers and software, and none of these things are manufactured. Okay. Two-part questions are tough. I think that this inclusion of your opinion at the end seems rather... No, it's not, because you've mentioned that before. Well, I don't know what to say at this point. We could look at the band descriptors. Yeah, let's do that. I'm coming this far. I'm 25 minutes into it. With production time, it'll take an hour. All right, pause. Okay, so the big question is it a 7? It is not a 7 in task response, because you didn't address all parts of the task. What? No, you didn't address the newness part. An advertisement was barely mentioned at all. It was about manufacturing. And so those are parts of the task. You didn't address them. So that's not a 7. Addresses all parts of the task is also necessary for band 6. Band 5 is when you start to get into the off-topic stuff. And that would be a fear of mine for you. Then it could be a 5. Okay. Logically organizes information, and there's a clear progression throughout. Okay. Uses a range of cohesive devices appropriately, although there are some under and overuse. In these times, nowadays, not a lot of cohesion with the use of cohesive devices that I could point to. You used paragraphing correctly, so at least it's 6. Could be 7, but I'm going to say on the low side and say 6. Vocabulary, that repetition, you really got to cut that out. Saying the same word twice in 2 sentences, like massive, which is not a common word. But it is adequate for the task. There is some flexibility and precision. Occasional errors in word choice. Yeah, we'll put you a 7 up there for lexical resources, just to make grammar more. Well, it wouldn't really matter, really, because you would need an 8 at this point to get to 7 so far, because these are below 7. The first 2 might be 7, but definitely not understanding the question properly will impact. Will not lead. You can't get a 7 without that. And it might be a 5. So say if it's 6 and a 6, if this is a 7, well, you'll need an 8. Even if you got an 8, let's say 6, 7, 7. This is not a 7. It's a 6. 6, 7, 7. To get to a 7, you need an 8. What do you need to get an 8 in grammar? A wide range of structures. The majority of sentences are error-free. Makes only very occasional errors and inappropriacies. You have good grammar, but you're not there yet. Not to that standard. Want to see some examples? Sure. Let's go back to our document. Where is it? Huh? Yeah. Your child needs a daddy, I can help. These long sentences. This will lead to a decrease in the lifetime value, which can long-term effect on the public image of the company. Which you got two clauses connected by a which. Leading to. Led to. This will lead to. Leading to. That's repetition in your structures. Once again, we have 2 clauses, who, which. It's not the only way to connect 2 sentences. How about up here? How I feel about you. I can do anything at all. I can help. Your child needs a daddy. I can help. Okay, what I'm not seeing much variation in here is use of things like passive voice. I'm not seeing any passive in here. I didn't look that hard. There might be some in here. Conditional statements, like if this, then, you know, and correct use of the second, third, and mixed conditionals.
Yeah, 498. I gotta get 500 lined up. I can help.
There are no basic sentences in here. There are no simple sentences. Every sentence is connected with a connector to every clause is. Every independent clause is connected to another one with a which or a but or a, not a but, but a or an ellipse. So don't forget the simple sentences too. That is a range of grammar. So there's not a lot of that. There are, for instance,
It sure would do me good to do you good. I can help. The fact that people
yeah, this is grammatically correct, but it does not flow. So you could get an 8, but I don't think it's likely. Not with this. Sorry. Good luck.